Welcome back to Risque Business News. I'm your host, Laura Sogar.
And I'm Mae Planert. And this week we are breaking down multi-level marketing companies.
Ooh, MLMs. Hey, girlie.
Every boss babe. Hashtag boss babe.
Hashtag entrepreneur. They own their own business. I'm excited because, good Lord, have we watched a lot of friends go down that rabbit hole.
Well, I feel like I haven't personally, but...
oh, really?
No, not really, thankfully.
I'm from the South.
Yeah. All right.
Prime targets.
So that's coming up.
All right.
Where's the money? I don't understand how you make money.
Hold on.
From that, though.
2 stand-up comics in New York City.
Just learned a lot of this stuff. I'm going to ask all the stupid questions that you might be thinking at home, but are afraid to ask people.
Making it to where you feel like you're too stupid to be able to ever engage in it, they win.
Why the fuck are they doing this?
It's to make money. It's Risque Business News. Oh my gosh, another week down.
Another week down. Wow.
This is personally a very big day for me because Elon Musk
Oh, yeah.
is going on SNL. And I stand to gain a lot of money.
Wait, am I insane? Oh, yeah, that's tonight.
It's tonight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this will already have happened by the time this comes out. But I am on pins and needles right now, folks, because I've got substantial gains to be made. You too.
I did too. I have some gains, but like not quite at the level that you are, but still like pretty significant, like percentage wise, a lot of gains on Dogecoin.
Yeah. Dogecoin, to the moon. It's already at like 70 cents right now, which is fucking insane.
That's amazing. When did we buy it? Because I bought it around
3.
Yeah, holy shit.
Good job, us.
Good job, us.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he's going on tonight and probably going to talk about Doge, which is of who knows legality, but there are no rules.
Doge doesn't even exist. That's the thing. Like
it's like, wild.
It's crazy. Like I have some friends that are they're like conservative when it comes to money, and they're like, but it's built on nothing and it's stupid and it's silly, and it's like, yeah, but I'm up like significant amounts of US dollars.
Right.
So I don't really care.
100%. I really don't. I don't care where it comes from.
Me neither.
Like, I have it anyway. Also, like, US dollars are also built on nothing. So that's like, it used to be put on gold, but like, what is gold? Who cares?
Right.
So that's the whole thing, is money is very much just a concept that we're all agreeing has value. And now we've agreed that Doge has value, which is fucking awesome.
I saw on some TikTok, so who knows if this is fake news or not. Probably. But
very thorough vetting process for TikTok.
But somebody said that like 30% of the bills ever printed have been printed in the past year.
Damn.
Yeah. But I don't know. Honestly, that could be a complete lie. And I'm like so gullible.
Yeah. Also, like, does that mean they're retiring old bills, or we just have more money in circulation?
I think just more money in circulation, but I don't know, actually.
It is wild.
I know nothing. I watched one TikTok and I think I know something.
Well, no, I know. Literally, I was texting my dad for the Sogar versus Pelosi thing, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yes, we need to update you guys on that.
And I felt like such a genius, because I was like, oh, I'm on this website just checking to see if any of the senators have positions in crypto. And he's like, okay, you're an idiot. Like, relax. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, well, it'll impact their policies if they have, stake in it. And he's like, okay, this is a very complicated thing that you're like, you went and did about 4 minutes worth of research. I'm like,
right.
But just so you know, Mark Green is the only person invested currently in Doge, at least that has disclosed it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, because there's the worry about the taxes and stuff, that's a whole other episode, which we'll probably do at some point, and probably have to bring on someone who's not an idiot to talk about it, because I was like, I don't know.
I have no idea.
But we did do the initial investments for our versus scenario. Do you want to tell us about what we did with Pelosi?
Yeah, sure. So I looked at this this website called Unusual Whales.
Yes. Which, check it out. It's got a lot of fun data on there.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's all of the positions that like the government officials have to disclose what they've invested in, which is why we're like, hey, why did you just, sell so much Pfizer before you announced that, the patent's going public or whatever?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's full of shit,
They're all full of shit. And it's just a way where you can go and just be like, oh, as expected, yes, you are full of shit. Okay, cool.
So my girl Nance, there's a little pie chart of everything that she sold or she's bought. And so I basically just took percentage-wise out of my $100 and invested it into the companies that she did percentage-wise. So like Amazon was 9.7% of her total. So I put in $9.07.
Yeah.
Or 70 cents.
Yeah. I was surprised that, first of all, she doesn't have that many like funds, like mutual funds. Like they all seem to be primarily in like, companies, like specifically. Maybe that's because it would get really complicated with the reporting. I don't know. There's probably a lot of laws around this that I'm not aware of. But she also carried a lot of like, kind of like, hyped stocks like Netflix, Tesla,
Facebook,
Apple,
Google,
Roblox, which we bought.
Yeah.
It's going to go up. I have long-term hope for them. Salesforce,
Microsoft. So
CrowdStrike, cybersecurity, baby.
that's what I find funny though, is that like I feel like all these politicians are like, take down Facebook, they're doing all these horrible things, blah blah, and then they have a big percentage of their total investments. 6.9% of her total investments are in Facebook. So what does
it's
that
really
tell
weird.
you?
It almost feels like if you're invested in one of the companies that you shouldn't be able to invest in a company that you're regulating.
I agree.
I don't know. Again, this is super. There's probably people yelling, like, yeah, this is more complicated than you know. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's not what we're here for.
No, we're here for wide speculations, conspiracy theories.
Exactly. So
with little to no information.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I have my $100 spread out evenly across the companies that she's invested in. And yeah, we'll see. I don't have a specific data point yet of like how much it's gone up because we only did that 2 days ago.
Yep, we'll check in week by week because we're going to do a little versus scenario and see who does better with all this. Reason being because I am doing the representation of the retail investor. Retail being generic ass Joe. In this case, I used my father, Michael Sogar, he's really good, actually. He's a day trader. He claims at least to generally beat the, standard funds and stuff like that, which I believe. He uses a system called, so basically I had him tell me his initial investments, like where he's at, and then did the similar thing, a percentage breakdown around $100. For him, he's pretty fast. Like he will sell all, buy all, like week by week. It's like a pretty quick moving thing. So what I'm going to do to kind of like replicate what he's up to is use the same system he's using, which is the MACD, and which is mean average convergence, divergence, sure.
Great.
Doesn't really matter. If you really care, let me know and I can try to do a more thorough explanation. At this point, I don't know what it means. However, I do know that that's what he uses. Apparently, it's one of the better indicators to use in the market. That's what a lot of strong retail investors do. Retail meaning, once again, average people. So at this point, I bought Texas Instruments, Beyond Meat, Starwood. The reason he loves Starwood is because they pay dividends. So we don't touch Starwood. You buy Starwood and you leave Starwood because they pay a good amount of money, I think quarterly or maybe every half year.
To who?
To investors.
Oh.
Because basically they're like a dividend would be what you would pay if there's not intention for big growth for the group, but you still want to give like returns to your investors. So there's like, they get like $1 per share or something like that.
Okay.
Every half year or something along those lines. So Starwood is going to be consistent. So we'll just see how those dividends eventually stack up. Walmart, and then a couple funds. One of which had a $2,500 minimum, so I skipped it.
Yeah.
I was like, no, thank you. Okay, rich.
Yeah, right? Damn.
And so far, so good. He immediately, when I was working with him, I think he sold all of Walmart, so I think I've already made like a fairly significant sale. And hasn't reinvested it yet, so the percentages would have changed around some, but I need to, I'll keep an eye and I'll let you guys know. So
yeah, this is exciting. My bet's on Nancy, honestly. I think Nancy's going to win.
I think, I don't know, because my I'm a daddy's girl. Okay. I got a bet on him, also me as a result. But so far we'll have him at about even, and we'll let you know who's winning week by week. I'm pretty excited. I also got to see a lot of my dad's financials, and I was like, man, you're better at saving money than me. I can tell you that, sir.
I'm a big believer that you just need to focus on making money instead of saving money.
At this point in our life, like, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's definitely people, once again, yelling. They're like, interest! You can make interest over years and it accumulates and stuff. Listen, I get that. But also, money is fake, as we started out this one.
Right. And also, like, I mean, I hate all those articles that were like millennials saving money by like not drinking Starbucks. I'm like, not having a fucking Starbucks is never going to make you rich ever.
100%. Remember when there was that trend about like all those articles about like millennials are wasting their money on avocado toast?
Yeah.
They were like, we hate avocado toast.
Right. It's like they're not buying houses because they like avocados on their toast.
I'm pretty sure the $100,000 student debt that we're in is a little more impactful than avocado toast.
Than
You're
a
insane.
wildly priced up avocado toast. Although I feel like a lot of restaurants have put the kibosh on that. Like I've seen avocado toast that are like, literally I've seen them up to like $15.
Oh, yeah.
And it's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
I would never pay for that.
No, I mean, at this point, I also just, like, don't need to eat a piece of bread with fats on it.
True, true.
That's, like, my bigger thing. I'm like, maybe I should eat some protein, you know?
Yeah, have a piece of chicken.
I don't know. But, yeah, agreed.
Yeah. What else has been going on?
What else has been going on? I think we already talked about me turning 30, but
Yeah. Is this our first podcast since you're 30?
No, we did one last week, but then last week we went swiftly out drinking and I got to feel a hangover as a 30-year-old and I was like, kill me. I was telling Mae how I went to get my physical afterwards and my doctor was just like, sweetheart, so sweet girl. You're a woman now and you cannot do that to your body anymore. And I was like, okay. You're not wrong. And then he talked to me about my fertility and I was like, I want to leave. Can I leave?
Yeah.
Your health, your body, your choice.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was just telling Laura this before. I've been drinking too much and I would really like to take a break from drinking, but here we are with Aperol spritzes, so forget it.
There's a lot of sparkling water in them. They're fine.
We're fine. But, you know, honestly, I should probably take a break from drinking.
That's all right. We're also going to Idaho.
We are going to Idaho,
weeks,
yeah.
which I'm excited for. If anyone lives in Boise, come through.
Come through.
Are
we going to do a pod out there? Or
We
no?
could.
We could?
I'll definitely bring a little deck.
Okay.
We'll be ready to go. And I think I think there is a component of like live podcasts for an audience. So possibly we'll have a better schedule probably by next week.
Yeah, but that'd be really fun. We've never done comedy in Idaho before because why the fuck would I ever be in Idaho? No offense if anybody lives there.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard it's nice, but I've just never gone. So
right.
I'm excited. It'll be fun.
Yeah,
it's also fun to just like do something not in my apartment. Like,
totally.
Or like at like the 3 locations I go for comedy.
Yeah.
Like I go only a handful of spots nowadays.
The only thing that I will say sucks is that there's no direct flights.
That's true. But I'm flying through like Seattle, which is fucking insane. But we already got upgraded. So I'm like,
oh, that's nice.
how mad am I really?
Yeah.
I'm going to watch a couple movies, you know.
Right.
Like, sit back.
That's what I don't understand about traveling. Is like people will be like, oh, but you have to go on this like 7-hour flight. And I was like, so I get to watch TV for 7 hours?
Yeah.
As opposed to watching TV on my couch for 7 hours?
It's also like you don't get in trouble. If you're on a plane and you watch TV for 7 hours, you don't feel bad.
Right.
You know, that's what you're supposed to do on the plane. Whereas if I stay at home and watch TV for 7 hours, I'm like, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know, like.
The point is, that weekend we're probably going to be drinking a lot.
Probably. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Oh, well. R.I.P. my liver.
Yeah. It's fine. My doctor's like, no, it's not. No, it is not. This is what I'm telling you. It's not fine.
Oh my God. So Thursday night, I got so drunk. And then Friday, I literally didn't get out of bed until 4. And I was supposed to be working. And I just was straight up not working. Just laying in bed. Moving my mouse around. I mean, it was really problematic. So that was disgusting. Anyway, don't do that. Don't be me.
This is the roaring 20s. This is our version of it, which is just kind of like being hungover a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not great. I feel like I'm on day 2 of that hangover right now.
Yeah, well, that was me at the doctor on Monday after the Saturday night, and I was like, okay.
I'm dying.
I should not be here talking about
your party was wild.
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. It was fun, though.
Yeah, it was fun.
Swimmers, they're crazy people.
They really are. You wouldn't think that. You'd think they'd be really, like, disciplined people that are into their health.
Very, very disciplined when it comes to being champions at drinking or partying or whatever.
Okay. All right, well, I think I'm going to get into it. What do you think? Let's do it. So this is a really fun topic. So we are talking about multi-level marketing companies today.
MLMs.
So first of all, what is an MLM? It's a strategy some direct sales companies use to encourage existing distributors to recruit new distributors who are paid a percentage of the recruit's sales. So in other words, a pyramid scheme.
Sure. You could also be like, they're the manager.
Yeah.
What's funny is like we have that for sure in normal sales orgs too.
True.
Like my boss makes a percentage of my sales.
That's a good point.
So am I in an MLM for cybersecurity?
I guess technically we're in MLMs. Yeah.
No, but there is a pretty, you probably are familiar, like the Herbalife and,
Right.
you know.
So yeah, examples of MLMs are Amway, Avon,
Of course.
Herbalife, Mary Kay, Vorwerk, Rodan and Fields, etc.
Yeah.
So AKA all the companies that your friend from middle school slides into your DM about.
Yep. Yep.
Or
college sometimes.
Oh, really? Oh, no, that's terrible.
I went to school in Texas, and I do truly think that is a ripe place for MLMs, because it's like, you know, you're a strong lady who works from home with your kids, and which all about it, and I don't know, why does it always have to be these?
I'm not really all about it. It's predatory.
Well, no, these are predatory. I'm fine with people working from home and having kids and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like taking advantage of the fact that they want to do that.
I know.
It seems. I'm jumping ahead a little bit too much. But Rodan and Fields does have a really good eyelash serum.
Oh, really?
I happened to buy from them for that.
Okay. Did you use one of your Boss Babes codes?
My friend's sister sold it, and I was like, and then she would like text me, and I'm like, literally, that's the only thing I'm buying from them. If there was an alternative, I would buy it from another place, but I haven't found one. So if you know, let me know.
Yeah, I know a girl who sells Rodan and Fields. Now that I'm thinking about it, and I think that she's posted a lot about that specific serum.
I think it's like one of their only things that's like pretty good.
Yeah.
So people like me are like, I mean, I do like the serum.
Right. Yeah. I mean, fuck it.
Buy it, but I'm not gonna buy like any of the other stuff.
Right. So, like you kind of alluded to, the businesses rely heavily on recruiting new members who are mostly women, and they target stay-at-home moms, military wives, and others under the guise of financial empowerment.
I know, and that sucks, because it's like you want people to feel financially empowered, but like they're taking advantage of them.
Right. Because a lot of these companies, what they'll do, I don't know, did you ever sell knives in high school? That was a big one.
I did not, but I know of the practice of selling knives.
So basically, like, you have to...
right?
Cutco.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the big one. And like, oh my God, I had so many friends that like would join and then not sell anything, obviously, and then lose the money that they invested.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah, you have to invest and like purchase the products that then you have to sell. So what happens to the majority of people is that they get in this financial black hole and never end up making a profit ever.
That sucks.
Like majority-wise, I saw some statistic where it's like literally like 90% of people do not make back their original investment.
Whoa.
Yeah.
See, and that's the problem, because like obviously, you know, selling whatever crafts or shit that you make, or like people have stores and sell things all the time.
Yeah.
But the fact that this entire company strategy is understanding that the shit's not going to sell.
Right.
And that they're ultimately their consumer, like they're taking advantage of their salespeople, quote unquote,
Right.
and having them actually be the ultimate consumers.
Yeah, it's
under
really
the guise
sad.
of that's not what's happening. So it feels like they're manipulating them.
They are manipulating
Okay,
them.
there we go. My feelings were correct.
So thankfully, I mean, I really don't have that many friends in MLMs. You mentioned that you have some friends that message you, but I wanted to give you guys the
Friends
viewers.
is like loose.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's like, why is it? Oh man, I haven't heard from her in ages. Like, that's so sweet that she's oh god damn it.
Right. So I was on Reddit looking for some examples of these because people are so funny and they'll post things that like their friends, quote unquote, have messaged them.
Sure.
So this is an example of one. It says, "Hi, name taken out. I know you're busy with teaching and your family, but I'm wondering if you'd have any interest in hearing about my business. I have to ask, I'm committed to sharing it with others, especially my fellow mommies, and I know that busy people are successful people. Is there any chance that you'd be open to chatting about it and see if it might be a good fit for you?" And then the person who received the message says, "I win." And the MLM person says, you will? Question mark. And she goes, "No, I win." And she says, "What do you win?" And the person receiving the message says, "When you added me as a friend, my husband and I made a bet on how long it would be before you tried to push your MLM on me in a private message. He bet 1 to 5 messages, and I bet 6 to 10. Since you brought it up on the 6th message, I'm the winner. No BLM seller friend, in quotes, has ever waited longer than 10 messages to bring up their, quote, amazing business. But be proud of yourself that you at least pretended to be my friend for a few messages before bringing it up. Yay for you."
Oh my god, savage.
Which is like honestly a little harsh.
That's the problem too, is it's like never the friend who's like in a good situation.
Right.
You know? So you're like, you feel bad at the same time. I'm in a Facebook group about not so discreet MLM tactics.
Oh, that's fun.
It's so fun. Where they're like, it'll be this girl who'd be like, look at my baby. And it has like the press on MLM nails. Like, and it's like her just like clearly prominently being like, having like one of her friends be like, oh my God, your nails look so good. Like hoping to like open up a conversation around it.
Right.
But it's kind of sad because it's always like the people where you're like, well, they're clearly trying to, you know.
I know, it's so sad. I feel like in a lot of messages, like I'll read the message, the comment section of like Refinery 29 stuff because it's hilarious and I highly recommend it. People will be on the comment section like, this is full of shit. You guys have gone way too far, blah, blah. But then always towards the end, it's like, do you want to know how to make $10,000 from your couch? And it's like the same sort of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So here's an example of one other one, and then I'll get into some other stuff. But another example of a message is, hey girl, I sent you an invite.
Girl.
Hey girl.
They love hey girl or hey girlie.
Yeah, I sent you an invite to my ultimate ladies only brunch. You do not want to miss this.
They also love brunch.
Oh, they do. Who doesn't, honestly?
Same. Again, they hit you where, you know, they're weak.
It's the hottest party around for women only. It's just in time for Valentine's Day fun and great products you will love. Please check your events and RSVP accordingly so I can get confirmed head count for snacks and drinks, aka confirmed like victims. Your consultant can bring enough stock for all of us to take home goodies from the party. Please read info on the event. Hope to see you here, but if you can't make it, you can still help me out and place an order. Here's a catalog and let me know, or message name redacted personally. It's going to be a fabulous time. So again, like they're being like women empowerment, like look what we're doing. We're creating our own businesses, but really they're just like recruiting people so that they get money from their recruitments. It's sick.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing because like they obviously got recruited by someone, and so a percentage of their sales goes towards that. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, they get a percentage of sales from people underneath them. Right. So they're forever trying to bring in new people to sell. Yeah. And obviously sell the product as well. Yeah. So it's a cult.
It's definitely a cult. And one thing that's so funny about this is like it can get reasonable people too. Like I'm not blaming the victims of this. Well, yeah. I mean, sort of.
And it's often people in like kind of a stressed out situation in their life as it is. And like, listen, I've done a bunch of stupid shit.
Of course.
I'm an idiot. Yeah. Like, absolutely. I'm in my weakest moment, maybe would have fallen for it. Right. Like, I wouldn't say that I am above that.
Me neither. But, like, I remember right out of college, I was looking for a job, and my dad knew some guy, and he was like, yeah, why don't you meet with this guy? And I don't remember what it was, but it was basically like a life insurance pyramid scheme.
Oh my God.
And I met with this guy, and I was like, Dad, I don't know. And then I, like, looked it up online, and it was like, it's a pyramid scheme. I was like, Dad, how did you not know that this was a fucking pyramid scheme?
What did he say? Was he like...
He was like, oh, I don't know. I just met the guy on the golf course and he was telling me how he makes all this money. I was like, because he's trying to recruit you and me into this pyramid scheme, Dad. My dad is such a sweet guy, but he kind of reminds me of Michael Scott in some ways.
Yes. It's like, this sounds awesome. Yeah. $10,000 from your couch?
Right. Like, he's just so gullible. And he's very, very nice, but he's also very naive.
Of course. And it sucks because it's like a really nice trait to be like, you know... Right. Trusting of people, but unfortunately that's exactly what they're trying to take advantage of. Exactly. I love that you were like, Dad.
I was like 21 right out of college. I was like, father of mine. You are almost getting recruited into a fucking pyramid scheme.
You are literally pushing your daughter.
Yeah. You own your own engineering firm, and this guy is talking to you about his MLM scheme. Like, what are you spending your days doing?
I do love that men MLMs are like life insurance, whereas women MLMs are literally like press-on nails.
At least we're selling a product.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. That's true.
So as I mentioned before, success rates are minuscule. It's estimated that between 73 and 99, so even higher than I said, percent of participants either don't make any money or lose money. Wow. So some people wise up and quit while they're ahead, but thanks to the cult-like nature of MLMs, which we'll get into, many remain convinced that they'll be successful someday, and they relentlessly like pursue friends, family, and acquaintances with their pitches for their products, which is so sad. Like that they not only lose money, but they humiliate themselves to people in their lives, which is horrible. And so these people, the sellers of the product, are known as huns. Yes. And the reason why they're known as that is because always, hey hun, hey babe, hey girl, hey girlie. So that's the
I'm in another Facebook group. I love a good Facebook group dedicated to like a very niche thing. It's like Reddit, but like a little more chaotic almost. And there's one that's called This Unbelievable.
Oh, that's great.
it's just so many, like, apparently they love, there's, especially in the UK, there's a very specific hun profile where, like, color palettes that they like, and, like, they'll always, like, bedazzle, like, furniture and shit. Like, it's so terrible. I'll send some to you. They're hilarious, but poor huns.
That makes me sad.
Oh, huns.
Yeah, so they lose everything, relationships, their dignity, everything to be a part of this company. So you already mentioned this, but this is so true. So MLMs and cults have a lot in common.
Yeah. I definitely would love to, like, hear, like, this is good that you're going to break it down.
Yeah.
Like, it certainly gives me that same, my spidey senses are like, no.
So
I don't know exactly what it is.
They use a lot of the same control techniques. So the first one would be behavior control. So in a cult, it's about dictating, like, who a person is and what they do. Behavior control can be like restricting a type of food that they eat, or that something that they wear, when they sleep, or who they're allowed to associate with. And with MLMs, a lot of the huns are only friends with other huns, and, like, they're not allowed to talk badly about the MLM. They're not allowed to, and that they're supposed to believe in this product that's most of the time bullshit, where they're like, I'm
besides the rodent and fields I serve.
But there's a lot of, like, there's MLMs that are, like, straight up dangerous. Like, there's some, like, essential oil companies, like this one.
What is the deal with this?
Dr. Gary Young started, like, Young Life or something like that. And he was selling essential oils, and he was essentially saying that he could cure, like, Ebola with them, like things that you just straight up can't do.
Just like snake oil.
Snake oil.
Yeah, like
literally snake oil. Also, there was this woman selling girlie juice. Have you heard of this?
No.
Oh my god. So it's basically like this sodium-filled juice with, like, cayenne pepper or something. I don't remember the exact formula, but it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
It's cabbage juice with a bunch of salt in it. Ooh. And she was claiming that she could cure cancer with this elixir.
That's where things start to, like, you know, if you want to ruin, you know, your relationships and sell some press-on nails, like, fine.
Right.
But, like, that's health implications.
I mean, people are dying.
Exactly. Very serious ones.
Very serious. And it's like, who's held liable to that? Like, does Jilly go to jail because people are trying to cure their cancer with her fucking
I would imagine
cabbage juice?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if she's making claims that it can, then that's
malpractice. It's basically giving medical advice without a degree. Right. You know? I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
The second tactic that cults use is information control. So they'll withhold and distort information to make it more acceptable, or flat out lie. So they'll use, like, deception, discouraging access to, like, non-cult sources of information. So if they say girlie juice cures cancer, then, you know, you're supposed to just, like, blindly believe that and not look up anything.
Good.
Yeah.
Especially with the internet, I'm like, how are people not just like, oh, I'm gonna go Google this and be like,
right. But it's the same thing. Like, it kind of reminds me of people in QAnon. You know, you can tell them until you're blue in the face that they're wrong about something, but they are just a part of this mind control.
I want to, you know, that meme where it's like the arms like this, like the two strong arms holding each other's MLMs, QAnon people,
totally
not actually fact checking on the internet.
And that's complete. I bet there's a lot of overlap. Honestly,
100%. It's the same, like, core of, like, you know, do it myself or whatever. Right. Like, everyone else is wrong. Like,
I know, it's terrible. And so in MLMs, they usually use this tactic that's sort of similar to behavioral control and information control, where they love bomb you, is how it's put. So, like, right up front, it's like, oh, you're a boss, babe. You're an entrepreneur. You're this, and this, so that you feel like someone who's down on their luck feels like, oh my God, I'm special. Oh my God, they're welcoming of me, like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, who doesn't love a couple compliments? Are you kidding?
Right, which is also something that narcissists do to people. So if you're ever dating somebody and within, like, the first week they say, I love you, usually, and not always, but usually that can mean that they're, like, a narcissist and
you're
they just want
to do that.
But they're just trying to control you. Because
absolutely.
There's no way that you can fall in love with somebody within 1 week typically. And so they're just trying to control you.
Yeah.
And,
it's, emotional manipulation.
Right. Which brings me to my next one, which is thought control. So cults will seek to control how members think so that, like, the group's doctrine is accepted as the truth. So they'll use loaded language and cliches, often used to stop critical thinking and reduce, like, complex ideas to platitudes and buzzwords.
Do we have, like, any examples or?
Like,
we can post them or something, but
I mean, in terms of like cults, like I've heard of cults that it's like, oh, we don't eat dairy now because the Lord and Savior said this, and this.
Yeah.
And then everybody just has to say, okay, that's the truth. And they don't have any critical thinking. Like, why would that all of a sudden be a new rule?
Right.
But they just go with whatever the doctrine is
Yeah.
because the going against it is being ostracized from the cult.
Well, wasn't it Scientology, the one where they were like, and then Jesus Christ came to, what is it, Connecticut or something?
Connecticut?
Yeah, literally. No, it's Scientology. I'm
Really?
fairly sure where they said that like his second coming was to like the woods of North America up in the Northeast. And that there was like one guy who had specifically, had the only insight, and he just made up a bunch of rules. And they were all like, well, Jesus said so. And they're like, why is this the only person who has any visibility into it?
Right.
There's a great South Park episode, which is where I'm basing most of my
So like with the thought control, what MLMs will do is like they'll bring you in and they'll have presentations with quote successful members that are just like lying about their experience, either getting paid by like the top people or like maybe they are like in really close relationships with the top people and are actually making a lot of money. But like, guess what? That's not going to be your experience.
Right. Well, the problem is that they're not making money because the stuff is selling. They're making money because there's 4 tiers of people that have been recruited
And buying it.
and are buying it to try to sell it. So like there's someone losing.
Right.
And it's not them.
Right.
The only group that's not is like that top piece of the pyramid.
Right. So the last tactic that they had in this article anyway that that cults use to manipulate people is emotional control. So most of cult members experience extreme emotional highs and lows. And so they'll be showered with praise one moment and then made to feel guilty, fearful, and unworthy the next.
Oh no.
So they're told that any problems they experience are their own fault and never that of the leader of the group. So the cult instills irrational fears about leaving or questioning the leader's authority. So the same thing happens in MLMs when they're taught that having like a regular 9-to-5 is a failure. And so they're so afraid to fail that they're taught like if they aren't successful in selling this product and berating their friends and family, it's their fault, their failure, and that's the reason that they're not successful.
God.
Not the company, not the way that they preyed on them, none of that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, they're really victims, but it's the most annoying victim ever.
I know.
You're like, oh, you feel so bad, but goddamn, stop trying to recruit me.
Oh my God. How many recruitment emails do you get? Or messages?
I haven't gotten any in a while, but like there was that period, like I feel like right after college. I think that's a very vulnerable time for a lot of people.
My dad was trying to put me in one.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. But I had probably like 4 or 5 different people reach out and, be like, hey, girlie, like blah, blah, blah. And I remember the first time it was this person I knew very tangentially through swimming who I, was like, I think she was someone who had like become a coach or something. And like, I kind of knew her, but I wasn't super close. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, she's just trying to like, make friends or something like that.
Yeah. And
was chatting with her like very randomly. And then she all of a sudden brought it up. And I was like, God.
And there we are.
And yeah, I didn't fall for it. Thank God.
Thank God.
Can you imagine?
No, imagine if I had done that thing my dad wanted me to do. I would be, like, I'd honestly probably be a different person.
Probably.
Because I just wouldn't trust anybody. And I'd be
that's
like,
especially, problematic. Because then they go, oh man, like, listen, the world's already a scary enough place.
I know. Oh, God, it's terrible.
Did you see that, what is it? Have you watched Los Spookies?
Yes.
Did you see the episode where, I forget, Tati or whatever joins an MLM?
Oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of a different show.
I think it's Los Spookies. Or
no,
was
I
it?
thought Julio Torres was Los Spookies. Oh,
yeah. But there's one of the characters in there.
Oh, no, I haven't.
It's like the sister of one of the main characters. So it's like kind of like a more, tangential character. But she joins an MLM. And they come home and the entire place is just decked out in like an Herbalife like equivalent or something.
Right.
And she's always just walking around with the little thing. And she's like, I'm gonna make like that's a really good show. It's very, very, very funny.
Well, and also I would say that like people hate to feel that they're gullible or that they've been had. So they'll like stand. It's also very cult-like where it's like, oh, that like you're in an MLM, right? And people are like, no, it's different than an MLM. It's different than the other ones.
And
it's like,
well, look it up. And then if that's the first thing that comes up, it is an MLM. Sorry.
Yeah. And you've been had, and that's okay. But people like really have a hard time accepting that they've been lied to and that they've fallen for it, which is fair. It's a tough pill to swallow.
Definitely.
So I'm going to get into some horror stories from real women that have been in MLM companies.
Okay. Oh, God.
Okay, so this first one is titled, They Suggested We Sell Our Car. I found all these on Reddit, by the way.
Okay.
So, and there's a bunch of really funny Reddit threads that are like it sounds a lot like escaping a cult. It'll be like MLM like survivor stories and like stuff like that. So anyway, so
Which
it says
survivor, like you're gonna die.
Yeah, right. Well, actually, I'll get into some of this later. Yeah. Little spoiler alert: there are some murders coming up.
No.
Yes, there are some murders.
A flag for the dramatic.
Anyway, so my husband and I. This is the person telling the story about how they suggested they sell their car.
Sure.
My husband and I were enticed into joining Amway, which I think is like the biggest one.
I actually don't know the product, but it is super familiar.
Yeah, me neither. I think it might be finance or life insurance.
Oh, okay. Is that what you were gonna do?
Probably. I don't fucking know. So we had 3 kids, low-paying jobs, and 1 car. We did all the stuff, attended meetings, and tried our best. And then there was some major event happening in Detroit. Our upline, which is the person above them,
Sure.
that makes money off of them staying in Amway, said that we needed to be there. At the time they lived in Buffalo, so they had to travel there. We explained that we had no money for a trip, so they suggested we sell our car to make it.
That is insane.
Our only car, despite having 3 kids and 2 jobs. It's interesting to note that the upline guy, so the person, again, ahead of them, owned a used car lot and offered to sell it there. So we
probably
bailed
also
on that
made
happened.
money off them going to this event.
Of course.
That's crazy.
Crazy. Okay.
Mean.
People are crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Oh, well, I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah.
Good job.
So this next one is called Like Vultures.
Oh, God.
It says, I announced to my family and friends on Facebook that I had been diagnosed with thyroid cancer, which, by the way, I just had thyroid cancer, and that's a little fucking dramatic. Like,
I would have liked your post.
yeah, I mean,
Sorry,
come on.
May.
And I would be like, yeah, it's really not a big deal. I just get a surgery and then it's over with.
Yeah, well, you are entitled to your cancer post.
I don't think I am. I think I'd be a poser. But anyway, if anybody out there listening had thyroid cancer, let me tell you something. We basically popped a zit and we're over it. So stop. We're not cancer survivors, technically, but not really.
Sure. You're like the version 1 of cancer survivors.
Yeah.
You're like the easy mode of it.
It's just, I mean, it's not life-threatening. Like, there's really no reason to make a post about thyroid cancer. But anyway.
I am not a cancer survivor, so I have no ability to comment. You know, if you want to make a post, that's great. If you don't, great.
I wouldn't and I didn't. Okay. But anyway, so she says, I received friend requests from a friend from high school's 2 sisters who I had not talked with this friend since high school, and her sisters were people I had never met. I immediately thought, oh God, they're gonna pyramid scheme me and they'll want me to join. I was correct. I added them to be courteous and out of morbid curiosity about how long it would take them to descend upon me. One wrote immediately, asking if I had seen her post about the Plexus pink drink, which I don't know what that is. The other waited a month and wrote me to introduce herself and immediately launched into asking if I'd tried Plexus and if I'd want the info on it. Their sister had said nothing to me about my cancer diagnosis. Again, whatever, but you know.
Sure.
But clearly told her sisters about it so they could circle around me like vultures looking for a potential cancer success story that they could take credit for, especially because, I mean, thyroid cancer is extremely easily curable, so it's like...
Right, you just kind of,
You just get the surgery and then that's it.
So they're like, she beat cancer because of Plexus. And you're
exactly.
Like, well, it's because of modern medicine, but carry on.
It's because of the surgery that I had.
Yeah.
It was all so gross, and I wanted to call them out on their predatory behavior, acting like they weren't aware of my situation, but clearly trying to take advantage of it. But I just didn't want to engage, so I ignored it completely. Chelsea.
Makes sense.
Makes
I
sense.
wouldn't either. You block them. Become a fan of blocking people. I recommend.
Totally. I mean, the people just get so desperate. Like, I won't read this whole thing, but I have a third story on here where basically an employee at the grocery store where this woman went to, who she didn't know beyond like recognizing them at the store, approached her and like went on this big tirade of a sales pitch in the parking lot.
No.
And so she's like, great, now I can't go to this fucking grocery store because this person's like hounding me.
Yeah, stalking the lot like a
literally.
vulture.
It's so crazy.
That sucks.
I know. And so I went on a few Reddit threads, like I said. One of them was called r/MLM scams. And I saw a bunch of posts that made me so sad that were like posts that were titled like PGI Global, how to convince my father-in-law it's shit. That really sucks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, especially if it's like a person in your family where you're like, okay, well, I need to talk them out.
And you're like wasting your money and you're annoying people, and this is never going to work out how you think it's going to work out.
Yeah.
So I'm about to get into a very intense section.
Oh, hell yeah.
There have been some murders tied to MLMs.
Damn, like an Assassin's Creed kind of thing? Like,
sort of.
Like a layer, like, you could join and kill 2 people, and then I get a percentage of the ransom.
Yeah, so the consequences to these companies, unfortunately, go beyond just the harassment and the financial ruin.
Oh boy,
there have been several murders. So the first one I'll talk about is Shanann Watts.
Okay.
Have you seen this documentary on Netflix? It's called American Murder, The Family Next Door.
No.
Oh my God, it's so good. Which is terrible. I'm like, this woman's murder was phenomenal.
Amazing, yeah. But just a cinematic masterpiece.
But basically, so she was involved in something called Level, and a lot of the footage that they use for the documentary is from like her Facebook presence, because she was constantly posting, constantly asking people about Level. And a lot of the neighbors are like, we don't know that woman, but we do know her from Facebook.
Right.
That was what they all said about her. And essentially, long story short, her husband killed her and her 2 children.
Because of Lavelle?
Not necessarily because of Lavelle, but it was sort of hinted at by people, like these assholes on the documentary were saying, they were like, she was so annoying. We think that she like drove him to do this, which is a terrible thing to say and not true.
Yeah, it's very victim blaming.
And horrible. And
no matter how annoying your spouse is, you don't kill them and your kids. Jesus.
You definitely do not do either of those 2 things.
Yes, absolutely not. You maybe can consider a divorce.
That would be the best choice in that situation.
Absolutely.
I think. But it was interesting because she had such a strong online presence that there was like no shortage of just like information on her, because she was posting, like, the reason that they even figured out that she wasn't like that she had gone missing was because she hadn't posted within like the past half an hour. Like, that's how much she was on social media. Like, her friends were like, she hasn't answered my phone calls, but more importantly, she hasn't been posting on Facebook within the past half hour.
Something is up.
Yeah, so something's wrong.
Damn.
So anyway, I highly recommend that documentary. It's crazy, and it makes me think, like, because the guy seems like stupid. You'll see what I mean if you watch the documentary. He just seems like not all there. Okay. But he seems like a generally quote unquote normal person.
Oh,
and
boy.
It's terrifying to think that like your husband can be a quote unquote normal person and
well, it sounds like she also
that.
maybe had some issues too. So ugh.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Bummer.
The next one, so Jody. More? Oh, there's a ton.
Oh my God.
The next one is Jody Arias and her victim Travis Alexander. So this is the woman who stabbed her boyfriend to death, and there was a bunch of photo evidence of it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't. I'm not up on my killers.
Yeah, so he was a Mormon, which I also feel like Utah is they love MLMs. I don't know why, but they love it.
They're like pretty nice people generally too. So I'm sure like I don't know. I'm generalizing, but I'm generalizing in a kind way. So whatever. But yeah, trusting.
Right. So the 2 of them met at a prepaid legal conference, which is now Legal Shield and an MLM. So that's where they had met each other. So it's just like creepy little.
Okay.
I don't know. Paul Bernardo, otherwise known as the Scarborough rapist and serial killer, works for Amway, and he was said to have been deeply affected by their sales culture and used their techniques to pick up women that he then murdered. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm telling you, like, it's cult adjacent, like you wouldn't believe. Like, they're basically the same things. Like, they use the same tactics.
Wow. To pick up women. It's funny because he's not even going to financially profit on them.
I know.
Just have himself for a bit, dude. You know?
I know.
What are you doing?
I know, right? That's crazy.
Damn.
Okay.
Also, do you think he like kept being like, yeah, I just got this great new prospect. She disappeared on me again. And they're like,
Well, they're probably like, that makes sense. I mean, our prospects disappear all the time.
Yeah, you got ghosted by this lady you killed.
Okay, the next one is Gary Ridgway, otherwise known as the Green River Killer. He sold Amway, and there is a taped interview with Ridgway, where he claims that Amway made him a better person because he didn't kill as many people as when he was doing Amway. He was too preoccupied with Amway to murder people.
Okay, glass half full kind of scenario right there, That is a win in a way. It's a small win, but we'll take what we can get.
Listen,
didn't kill as many people.
Amway saved lives.
Amway, they're like,
That's
look
the way
at this
that they
crazy
spin it.
story. This killer killed less people because of Amway.
That's so fucking
Hey,
hysterical.
girlie.
Hey, girlie. Did you know that Amway saves lives? Ridiculous.
We convince serial killers to kill fewer people.
So one of the MLMs that I'm going to get into, which I thought was really interesting, was the gifting tables or the tables that were featured on the HBO documentary Murder on Middle Beach. Have you seen it?
I have not.
Oh my God.
But I have. Gifting table sounds familiar, so
Okay.
Which is not a great sign in relation to MLMs.
Yeah.
That means they hit the news.
The gifting tables, sometimes referred to as the tables, was a women's group that existed primarily in Connecticut between 2008 until it was exposed as a pyramid scheme in 2011. My question is, aren't these all pyramid schemes? Why wouldn't they all be exposed? I don't know.
Yeah, also that, wouldn't you immediately be like, okay, what's the business? Oh, yeah, it's a pyramid scheme.
Right.
It seems like just like you'd know it right away.
I know, I don't understand.
Are you trying to go... Anyway.
So the group positioned itself as a female empowerment sisterhood, which is so sad and sick to me, with members helping each other through the recession, 2008, remember?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, that's really not cool.
Not cool. So it was a lot of like housewives that, had never worked before and their husbands had lost their jobs or whatever, and they're living in like these Connecticut nice places.
Yeah.
So they're just looking for ways to
Make millionaires or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. And then so they're like, oh, get rich quick, great. So each table was structured as a 4-level pyramid styled after the courses of a meal, which is so weird to me. So there were 8 participants assigned to the bottom row, 4 participants assigned to the third row, 2 in the second row, and 1 at the top row. The top row participant is referred to as the dessert. The second row, entrees. The 4th participants in the third row were soup and salads. And the 8 participants on the bottom row are appetizers. Okay. So each of the 8 members on the appetizers level were required to gift $5,000 to the leader of the table or the quote-unquote dessert. Okay. So members were told that if they recruited more women to join, they moved up in the ranks of their table. So finally they would reach the dessert.
$5,000?
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Damn.
And eventually, which I'll get into, you run out of people that can even feasibly afford that. So then people are scraping it together by not so savory means. Yeah. Okay. So, and then eventually they would become the dessert, and then they could simply move to another new table and start the process all over again, where they would take $5,000 of their $40,000 and then be an appetizer and then move up to dessert again. So it's like
what?
So essentially, it's just like fancy luncheons and dinner parties where they're recruiting new participants, and like that's essentially it. It's supposed to be like, oh, we're all helping each other, but really, it's just gifting, quote unquote, each other money.
What the fuck?
I know.
What? And so the people on the bottom rung don't get anything?
No, they don't. Okay. Until they reach the dessert.
In which case I guess they get kind of a lot then, huh?
Yeah, but then once they move up to the 4-layer person, then they have to recruit at least 2 people to be the entrees at the new table. Wow. I mean,
what's bonkers to me is that someone sat in a room and it was like, this will work. Mm-hmm. And it did. People have balls. Like, good for them. I mean, not good for them. It sounds insane. But, like, the fact that you could just, like, really straight face be like, I'm going to do this thing where I can't imagine that the person who came up with it was ever the appetizer. No. Sure, they were dessert from the start.
Yep. And continue to be dessert all the time.
That, like, the amount of persuasion skills you must have to convince people that is something they should do.
And also, if you think about it this way, like, let's think about these rich women in a house, and all those people are bringing $5,000 in cash to the house. Like, that's a dangerous situation, period.
Totally. That's
like, they could get robbed.
Yeah. $40,000.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know? So they also had it be an invitation-only nature of the group, which was like, oh, we're Connecticut and classy, so this is exclusivity.
Oh, I bet that was also a big part of it, the social status and stuff.
Totally. So, unfortunately, on the morning of March 3rd, 2010, Barbara Hamburg, a dessert member, was stabbed and beaten to death in front of her house in Madison, Connecticut.
Yeah, they had one of the wrong appetizers, and this bitch was like, what?
Right.
You're telling me that this lady's getting $40,000? Not anymore, she's not.
Exactly. And people have killed for less than 40,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
I say absolutely like I know. I don't know why I was so resolute about that.
So
No
Barbara
idea.
not only participated in the tables, but she'd become a top member and recruiter. So she was like a top dog in this.
Damn. Just do sales, Barbara.
I know.
Like, go sell a real product.
I know.
Sweetheart, it's, you'll probably do pretty damn well.
It's terrible. I know. Like, you're obviously persuasive.
Yeah, Jesus. Go work that for a real company.
Right. So it was going, well under the radar until she became the subject of controversy because she started recruiting members from Alcoholics Anonymous. So that's about as predatory as it gets.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
She was also in AA, but those are people that are trying to rebuild their lives.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you are preying on them.
Yeah, definitely.
So that really sucked. And this caused a rift between her and some other prominent table members. So Jill Platt, who is Barbara's aunt, actually, and one of the leaders on the gifting table. So I feel like it's like a family that kind of started this, told the person making this documentary about it that there was a lot of bad mouthing going on about Barbara preying on women in AA. So it's theorized that one of these women in AA could have potentially killed her. Nothing has substantiated.
But what's
from that,
weird is like that they were like, oh, she's preying on women in AA, yet they're all part of it.
Right.
You're also being preyed on.
Yeah.
It's not great either way, you know?
No.
The fuck is going on?
I know. And so if you watch this docuseries, it's crazy because these people like Jill Platt, who ultimately went to jail for the gifting tables, but she
what did she get charged on? Do you know?
Defrauding the IRS because it was non-taxable. Yeah, it was non-taxable. So
wow. Mm-hmm. That's such a boring reason comparatively.
I know.
They're like, it would have been fine had you just paid us our like 30% or whatever.
Right. Oh my God, it's crazy. Because like, I guess if you say it's a gift, I don't know. Do you have to claim taxes on a gift?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Again, why am I sounding so resolute with that? Yes.
Just say things with conviction and people will believe you.
Absolutely. That's what Barbara's strategy here.
Yeah, so after the murder, the gifting tables operations came under the suspicion of the law, and a woman under the name of Donna Bello and Jill Platt, who were two of the gifting leaders. So basically the three top dogs were Barbara, who was murdered, Donna, and Jill. And Donna and Jill served sentences of 48 months in prison and 30 months in prison.
Jesus.
So that's like pretty crazy. And when you watch these women on the tapes, like they sort of not like just outright say it, but they sort of like blame the murder for them not being able to still do the gifting tables. And it's like, ladies, focus here.
Oh my God.
Like they still believe in the gifting tables. I swear to God, it's the weirdest documentary ever. And it's very sad.
I definitely need to watch that.
So it's created, and the person that is narrating it and like steering the documentary is her son, Barbara's son. So she's like, he's looking into who killed his mom.
So ironically, he's like now making money off that too.
I guess.
This gifting table just keeps on giving to them.
I know, but
he also lost.
He lost his mom.
Joke. I'm sorry. Sorry, Barbara.
But anyway, I mean, I feel like MLMs just sort of, they prey on, people that are down and out on their luck. And then like, there's been so many murders involved with MLMs that I'm like, and that's just like a handful of ones that I picked. Like there was a lot more there.
Totally.
And I just feel like people get really desperate, and because it's a cult, or like it feels like a cult, and they mind warp you like that, then they justify like crazy things that they do.
It's amazing how quickly humans can spiral out. I want to do an episode on like the Ponzi schemes.
Yeah. What's the difference between a pyramid scheme and a Ponzi scheme?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you. But the one, I'm forgetting the guy's name right now.
Barry Madoff?
Yes,
Bernie Madoff?
Yes.
Barry.
I was about to say Murdoch, and I'm like, that's different.
Yeah.
We definitely need to cover that because like it's ironically just like it feels like an MLM, but there's some differences, but clearly insane and like a very similar strategy set to
MLMs.
Yeah. The core principles of people like trying to just oh, I can make a ton of money off this. But like, no, you're not.
No, if something seems too good to be true, it is.
Yeah.
And also...
Listen, you're not going to make money unless you kind of like fucking hate it.
Yeah. Oh, God. The woman that I know that sells Rodan and Fields, she seems to be doing really well with it. And I don't know what's more embarrassing. Like going to their like top 10 performers retreats or like
so she's
not
probably
doing
getting
well.
the eyelash serum. It's fucking expensive. It's like $100 or something.
What?
I mean, I only buy it like once or twice a year or something like that. But I'm like, you know, if enough people are buying this. But that, I need to find an alternative because I don't want to give money to any MLMs. But
I know.
that is the one product that they've nailed.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh God, I'm so glad I never got wrapped up in that. But I'm not looking down on anybody that has because
That's the thing is,
it happens to so many people.
Had they just hit me on the exact right day, like I could totally have seen myself
also,
doing something stupid.
There's not like a ton of difference between this and just like a sales job where you have to outreach to people that it's like I outreach to prospects that have told me to fuck my face like multiple times.
Yeah, but we also
year.
get paid a base salary.
Right? Yeah, true.
You know, that's a pretty big difference.
True.
And we don't have to recruit additional sellers.
No.
Though we do have referral bonuses. So if anyone wants to do enterprise sales for a cybersecurity company, hit me up.
Oh no, I hate when they bring on new salespeople. I'm like,
actually, sales engineer, that's what I want. Like someone who's not going to compete with me, but who I still get a nice bonus for.
Yeah, I don't need competition. Get the hell out of here.
Well, damn. MLMs are fucked up. If you know anyone in one, let us know. Send us some messages. God bless them, yeah. And God bless them. And don't buy from them, but maybe just take them to lunch and be like, well, if you need money, just... You know, we can help you out.
Maybe get a job or...
Yeah. You want to work on your resume? Like,
yeah. There's nothing wrong with doing a 9 to 5. There's really not. Wrong
also,
with it.
like, most people do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have anything. Like, what do you think? This thing was made by people who work in an office, you know, a factory and stuff. Like, everything is coming from people working.
Don't you think, like, that would really... I mean... Maybe they're just so indoctrinated it doesn't bother them, but I feel like there's so many memes and stuff making fun of girls in MLMs. Like, wouldn't they realize, like, shit, that's me?
It's got to be that, the manipulation that you're talking about that can really, like... I mean, the people in QAnon, like...
Yeah.
It's not difficult to find anti-QAnon info.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they're still doing it, so there's clearly just some cognitive dissonance that's going on there. Look at Big words.
Wow, big words.
Don't ask me what they mean. Okay.
But yeah, there definitely is. And that's really a bummer. But yeah, don't join an MLM. You are not going to be a boss babe if you're in an MLM.
No.
And
you can be a boss babe by not being in an MLM. Start your own business. Actually, don't, maybe. I'm sure there's some predatory... Actually do, but be careful about it. There's some predatory ways to like get financing and stuff.
Yeah. Listen, everyone's trying to screw you, and that's the lesson that I want you to take out of this podcast.
So true. So true. I say it resolutely. Like, once again.
Everybody means harm, and is trying to ruin you financially.
Maybe New York City too long. We're like, those guys are trying to get you.
MLMs kind of remind me of? They kind of remind me of bringer shows.
I was gonna say that, but then I didn't want to like...
To be too inside baseball?
Yeah, but like, bringer shows are basically where you're required to bring your friends in order to perform. And I get like... You know, if you're starting out and you're trying to get stage time, I get it.
Yeah.
And people do, like, stage time is stage time, but they're also the easiest shows in the world.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
I mean,
you want to be a person who's on a bringer show that didn't have to bring people.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
You want to be like the guest spot on the show.
The dream.
That's the fucking hottest show in town.
Absolutely. Thrilled people, couldn't be more supportive. They're literally there to be supportive.
Right.
But unfortunately, they come to a comedy show and it's not going to be great a lot of the times.
It's going to be pretty bad, actually.
Pretty bad because it's beginners, unfortunately, which is fine, but just go to a mic, you know?
Right, just go to a mic.
I was gonna do a bringer show because I wanted to do like every version of comedy. Like, that's been like one of my... I want to like have the full breadth of experience.
You can skip that. You can skip that phase.
Well, unfortunately, the pandemic hit. So I was like,
Thank God.
I'm not doing the bringer show.
I have done bringer shows before, and it made me feel so guilty afterwards because because I was like, I just made my friends sit through like fucking 15 terrible comics.
Besides that, they also have to pay.
Yeah.
And it's not cheap.
No.
Yeah.
I've
been to a bringer show for a friend, and I was like, oh, wasn't great.
Yeah.
But I have very supportive friends, so they would have gone. Like,
I used to be a part of this like bringer Facebook group where like comics would volunteer to go to your bringer in exchange for
You to go to them.
Yeah, so you'd have to
That's
bring comics after a while, but
probably like best case scenario for it. Like, you know, at least you all know what you're getting out of it.
it's true.
But then also just go to a mic if you're just gonna be performing for comics.
I know. I mean, God, it was
Or just
terrible.
run a show and then have people come to your show.
Yeah, I don't know what's worse, somebody messaging you about an MLM or someone messaging you about a bringer show. Probably a bringer show, honestly.
Yeah, bringer show is certainly like more high intensity. Like this is
Yeah.
coming on now. I also am lucky. Like I know a lot of comics who do bringer shows.
Yeah.
And a lot of good comics have come out of it, so no hate there. But at MLMs, I've never really seen the success story happen.
True.
I don't know. Either one, please skip me with those messages.
Literally.
This was super interesting though.
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy, like, in terms of, like, a anthropological study of, like, the mind and how you can control people, it's very interesting. Like,
Makes me realize I should be better at sales. Like, these ladies are slinging nothing. And I'm like, over here just sitting in a product that I think does do what it's supposed to do.
But I don't think that they're actually selling anything.
That's true. But they're recruiting people to sell it. I should at least be referring people to my company.
True. Yeah, it just bums me out. Do not fall for this, ladies and gentlemen. That's the takeaway.
Yeah. Well, anything that you want to that you have coming up to plug? We had a great show at Asylum. We'll have another one in June, so we'll follow up with that closer
Asylum
to it.
Theater NYC.
Yes, if you're in NYC, come through. Otherwise, I still have my Brooklyn Underground on Thursdays and Sundays.
And I have Borscht at the Tiny Cupboard every Saturday. Every single one at 5. And I dread it every single time and then have a great time and a great show. So
It is a good one. Yeah, it's a fun show.
it's a really fun show. I don't know what my fucking problem is. I think
Let's go to Saturday.
I have a problem with commitments.
Yeah, don't we all?
Yeah.
It's our generation.
Anyway. So come see us live and don't respond to the boss babes in your DMs.
Don't be a boss babe is our message for today.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.
Bye.